The most common workout and nutrition mistakes. Number one, skipping warm-up. How many people do you know that skip warm-up every time they go to the gym? I was one of them, but hey, I learned my hard lesson. About 5-6 years ago, I tore my Achilles because I refused to warm up prior tennis match. Guess what? Lesson learned. And when you're young, when you're in your 20s, or even like, 15, 16 years old, you get away. You get away with all the things, not warming up and stuff. But trust me, I wish you would have had somebody who would have told me that, hey, when you get older, it will catch up with you and things might happen. Nobody told me. I had to learn the hard lesson. So don't skip the warm-up. 5 to 10 minutes on the bike, on the stepper, warm up your muscle tissue, get the blood flow going. It doesn't take too much time. It will help you. 2, inconsistency. That is a very big mistake. Being consistent in a gym, that's when success comes. There is no point of training for like a couple months like an animal and then stop again. Consistent training. Have a plan every 3 to 4 days a week. Have a plan and don't skip any workout. Being consistent is what gets you growth and also burns fat. There's no point of training like an animal for 1 week and then you disappear for 2 weeks. 3 is lifting too heavy. Lifting too heavy is a very common mistake I see every day in the gym. Especially if there's a group of guys and they all train together and the ego is kicking in and everybody has to show that, hey, I can lift more than you do, and it goes back and forth. And then guess what? They put too much weight on and they lift too much weight. A lot of times the proper form is suffering. And guess what? If the form is suffering, and you cannot get the right movement, in other words, the muscle you train cannot lift that weight, then supporting muscles are taken over and you're taken away from the muscle you actually train. As an example, bicep curls. If the bicep curl is too heavy, then you start swinging and you're using your front delts. Now you're taken away from your biceps and you get also injured. So what's the point? Number 4, not getting enough sleep. Think about it. A puppy, a baby, they sleep so much and they grow so fast. You grow, you recover when you sleep. You can have the best workout in the gym and the best nutrition and all the amino acids that are needed for muscle growth. But guess what? If you don't sleep, you cannot recover and you cannot grow. Sleep is very important. All right, number 5, not challenging yourself enough. That's why it's good to have a training partner or a trainer that holds you accountable and pushes you. You gotta train hard, but be careful. Don't train hard to a point where, especially as a beginner, when you train too hard and too much in the beginning, where your body creates cortisol, which is a stress hormone, because that way, if that gets released, that will hinder you from, gaining muscle or burning fat. So push yourself, train hard, but train smart. Number 6, hiring a PT that's out of shape. Now let me ask you, would you hire a trainer that's out of shape? Would you pay him all that money to give you a nutrition plan and tell you how to train if he is not even in shape? I don't know about you, but I would never pay all that money to a trainer who doesn't have the body I desire. Because you know why? Because I don't believe him. So And also, let's face it, you know, when you pay a trainer, the trainer also has to motivate you, you know, like the client at least should have the desire to look like, to have a body like he wants to look like the trainer, or like a desire to, like, you know, be better, become a better person, you know, and gain muscle. So if a trainer doesn't have that look to motivate you, I don't know about you, I would stay away. All right, the last one is doing the same workout routine over and over and over. How many times have you seen it that some people, it's almost like a deja vu. They come in, they go to the same machine, do the same routine, have the same weight every day, every week, year after year, and they never change. They always look the same. For the most part, what I'm saying, for the most part, they actually look worse. You know, if I give you a funny analogy, if I'm around the corner and I go, boo, you're gonna be like, whoa, you had no choice. You had to respond because you didn't know I was there. So if you can train, if you can get your muscle to a state of shocking all the time, guess what? The body has no choice. It has to respond. And responding, you know, means it has to adapt. It has to get better. So if you do the same thing over and over and over, not even changing the weight or the routine or anything, well, guess what? Your muscle is going to be like, what? I already know this one. So you gotta, you know, put some effort in your training. Right, that's it. The next one, let's go to nutrition. The most common mistakes when it comes to nutrition. Number one, calories and macros. You need to know the amount of calories you consume. If you want to gain some muscle, you gotta be in a little surplus. If you want to lose fat, you gotta be in a little deficiency, okay? So you need to know your number. Macros, you need to know how much protein, carbs, and fats you consume. For a fitness guy, you know, if you're a bodybuilder, usually 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of protein is required to gain muscle. Also have at least, you know, 25 to 35% calories coming from fats, healthy fats, of course, very important. And then carbs we need, you know, for energy. So don't be afraid to consume carbs. Carbs don't make you fat. Too many calories makes you fat. 2, food quality. Obviously, it's a no-brainer. You need to eat great quality foods. And what I mean by that is, you know, cook your food yourself. You know, rice, broccoli, oats, some healthy nuts, fish oil, chicken, beef, fish, you name it. Like good quality food that is easy digestible. You know, don't go for that middle section in the grocery store where everything is pre-packed and pre-cooked. They have a lot of chemicals, preservatives, a lot of sodium and a lot of sugar in most of their foods, okay? Then next one is meal timing. So the timing on when to eat certain food is important too. What works best for me is eating five meals per day. Breakfast in the morning, and then, you know, I train my clients, and then I have one more meal, my lunch, and then later I'll train, and then I have another, you know, in between meal after my workout. And then I have another one, a smaller meal in the nighttime, around like 8 o'clock. So space out your meal so that you have, you know, around your workout you should have, you know, the most calories. And then, you know, in the evening a little bit less. That way you will always stay lean. Number 4, the right food choices for your goal. Now what that means is, whether you're a tennis player, football player, bodybuilder, or you're a long distance runner, every individual requires, you know, different nutrition. So a bodybuilder will need, of course, more proteins and more calories, whereas a long distance runner, sprinter or biker, they mostly consume, carbs. They need more carbs because they need a lot of energy to sustain a long distance. So knowing your activity level and your goal will determine, of course, your right food choice. Then 5, eating too much or not enough. That is very important too. Don't eat too much and don't eat not enough. Meaning, if you're a hard gainer and you have a hard time putting on, weight, obviously you need to eat a certain amount of calories until you gain at least 1 pound per week. And vice versa, if you want to lose fat, you need to be in deficiency. So if you feel like you're gaining like 1 pound or 2 pounds every week, well, obviously you're in a surplus, you're eating too much. So you got to know the amount of calories, which comes back to number 1, you need to know the calories you're consuming. And consuming alcohol. Yeah, alcohol for the body is poison. So when alcohol goes into your system and then you eat, the body will ignore the food and will take care of the poison first, which is alcohol. So that being said, when you go out and you drink alcohol, and let's face it, for the most part, it's not like you're eating a salad or some healthy food. Once we get a little tipsy, we want to eat a fat burger or some fat food, right? But here's the problem. Alcohol in food at the same time is a big problem because that's a gainer right there. The body will always take care of the alcohol, which is poison, first, and it will ignore the food that's floating in your bloodstream, glucose. So what does it mean when the body ignores, the food, but it takes care of the alcohol? Well, obviously, if it has to take care of the alcohol and the food is still floating around, it will get stored. So be careful when it comes to drinking and eating at the same time. And by the way, I shouldn't say it, but I'll give you a tip. If you decide to drink, then you should drink straight liquor like vodka, soda or on the rocks, tequila, whiskey, or gin tonic, and tequila. Those are basically the ones the body can absorb and digest really quick without having those bad side effects. Next one is consuming high glycemic foods. The glycemic index of foods, which mostly comes from carbs, they have a high glycemic index, such as sugar, honey, donuts, watermelon, oats, white rice, and the list goes on and on. So eat good choice. It comes back again to eating the good quality food, the choice. Okay, again, if you're a long distance runner and you need the calories, you need to carb load the day prior your race, it's okay. You can consume high glycemic foods. Even sugar is okay if you're a long distance runner, or a biker. You actually should consume sugar during your training after like 45 minutes, because that's how long it takes until your glycogen storage is getting depleted. So in that case, it helps. But if you are a fitness freak or bodybuilder and you want to keep the body fat percentage low, stay away from high glycemic index, and it will also help you to manage your weight. All right, so that was quite a bit. So we talked about the nutrition and the workouts. I hope this information was helpful and you can use it for your goal. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to give me a like. And that's it. Thanks.